On our website, you can get PDF learning materials for free. Please visit englist.me.
Conversation.
An informal talk between two or more people to exchange their views, ideas, information, etc.
Examples.
Conversation in English. A friendly conversation. Your conversation reflects your thoughts.
Professorship.
A university lecturer of the highest rank or the position of it.
Examples.
Land a professorship at the university. Visiting professorship. His next goal is a full professorship.
Essay.
A short piece of writing on a particular topic, usually written by a student as a part of a course of study.
Examples.
Score the SAT essays. Thoughtful essay. The chief editor checks all essays for plagiarism with software.
Draft.
A preliminary version of something that is not yet in its final form.
Examples.
A working draft. Write the first draft. During debates in the legislature, the draft of the law caused a lot of controversies.
Overhear.
To hear what other people are saying without intending to and their knowledge.
Examples.
Happen to overhear a conversation. Accidentally overheard their talk. She was inside at the time and overheard the conversation.
Graduate.
A person who has a first degree from university or college. Verb, to complete the first course of university or college and get a degree.
Examples.
Graduate degree program. Honor graduate. Many employers hire graduate trainees to train as managers.
Retirement.
The fact or act of stopping working and leaving one's job.
Examples.
Retirement from politics. Impending retirement. This fund is responsible for disability and retirement benefits.
Anthropology.
The scientific study of humanity, concerned with human behavior, human biology, cultures, societies, and linguistics in both the present and past, including past human species.
Examples.
Social anthropology. Anthropology of religion. The areas of anthropology and psychology are significantly related to one another.
Depart.
To go away or leave, especially to start a journey.
Examples.
Arrive and depart on time. Depart from the faith. We departed before the temperature fell below zero.
Bulletin.
A short news report or program on the radio or television, an official statement or broadcast about something important.
Examples.
Bulletin board. The weekly bulletin. They publish a special weekly email bulletin.
Inspiring.
Stimulating and motivating you to want to do something.
Examples.
Inspiring stories. Awe-inspiring sight. An inspiring teacher might spark students' motivation to succeed.
Pitch.
The property of sound that varies with variation in the frequency of vibration, the degree of a slope, especially of a roof, short presentation for selling or sharing something.
Examples.
Make a pitch for a new product. A low-pitched sound. Her voice gradually increased in pitch.
Flashy.
Attractive or impressive by being bright, expensive, large, etc., used especially of clothes, marked by conspicuous display.
Examples.
Flashy cars. Flashy graphics. I want to buy a reliable car rather than a flashy one.
Administer.
To oversee and control the operation or arrangement of something.
Examples.
Administer justice. Administer the funds. After the accident, 3 governmental bodies administer the company.
Assistant.
Someone who helps or supports someone else to do a job.
Examples.
An unwilling assistant. Assistant professor. An executive assistant director administers each branch.
Exciting.
Causing a lot of interest or excitement.
Examples.
Exciting football player. Exciting news. The findings of the experiment were both exciting and unexpected.
Compile.
To create a book, a list, a report, etc., by combining various objects, articles, music, etc.
Examples.
Compile a biography. Compile the data. We are attempting to compile a list of qualified candidates for the position.
Database.
A large amount of data stored in a computer system in such a way that it can be searched and updated easily.
Examples.
Database administrator. Employee database. Each country's officials can access the central database.
Faculty.
An inborn or natural ability to hear, see, think, move, etc., a department or group of the university concerned with a major division of knowledge.
Examples.
A member of the faculty. The elative faculty of the mind. This university's computer science faculty is world distinguished.
Glory.
Great honor or success won by notable achievements.
Examples.
Greatest glory. Former glory. It is preferable to die in glory than to live in dishonor.
Hesitate.
To pause decision before saying or doing something.
Examples:
Hesitate for a moment. Hesitate to ask for help. Please do not hesitate to call us.
Suppose.
To think that something is likely to be actual or possible.
Examples:
Suppose you're right. Suppose beforehand. What do you suppose the culprit's motive was?
Versatile.
Able to do many things in different fields, having many talents.
Examples:
Provide a versatile solution. A versatile writer. He's a versatile actor who has acted in various parts.
Interaction.
The act of connecting with someone, mainly when working, playing, or spending time with them.
Examples:
The interaction between man and his environment. Interaction among human beings. The interaction of the two groups is good for brainstorming.
Influential.
Having significant impact or power on someone or something.
Examples:
An influential newspaper. An influential politician. Early childhood experiences are very influential for people.
Ethnology.
An academic field that compares and analyzes the characteristics of different peoples and the relationships between them.
Examples:
Regional ethnology. Museum of Ethnology. Recently, some anthropologists conducted an interesting comparative study in ethnology.
Speciation.
The evolutionary process by which populations evolve to become distinct species.
Examples:
Chemical speciation. Speciation of wildlife. Speciation allows for divergent evolutionary trends within species.
Distinct.
Noticeable from something else of a similar type.
Examples:
Distinct difference. Distinct from each other. It is essential to keep these two issues distinct.
Population.
The total number of people in a country, region, or location.
Examples:
Population change. Labor population. In just 4 years, the population has doubled.
Isolate.
To physically or socially separate someone or something from other people or things.
Examples:
Isolate a compound. Isolate a patient. You should not isolate them from the community.
Linguistic.
Relating to language or the study of language. Her major is linguistics. Linguistic analysis. Our naive experience undoubtedly contains a linguistic aspect.
Fascinating.
Extremely interesting.
Examples.
Fascinating story. Completely fascinating to me. The museum houses a fascinating collection of Celtic artifacts.
Assignment.
A duty or task given to someone, usually as part of their job or studies.
Examples.
Finish the assignment. Assignment of interest. My assignment was overwhelming and complicated, but it was also exciting.
Volunteer.
A person who performs or offers to perform a job or service without being paid for or forced to do.
Examples.
Seek volunteers. My volunteer work. The teachers make full use of volunteer assistance.
Announce.
To make something known or officially inform people about something.
Examples.
Announce candidacy. Announce the award winners. The third season of the anime show has been announced.
Refuse.
To show that one is not willing to do or accept something.
Examples.
Refuse a request. Refuse the company. My initial reaction was to refuse.
Prefer.
To like, choose, or want one thing or person better than another.
Examples.
Prefer physics to chemistry. Prefer a window seat. The birds prefer open water areas with reeds around them.
Preparation.
The activity of getting ready for something or making something ready.
Examples.
A preparation program. The preparation of meals. He helped me with the preparation of this book.
Permanent.
Lasting for a long time without essential change.
Examples.
Literature of permanent value. Permanent life insurance. She is searching for a permanent residence.
Demonstrate.
To display something or give an exhibition to an interested audience.
Examples.
Demonstrate a difference. Demonstrate mastery. How can you demonstrate that the Earth is a sphere?
Vary.
To become different in terms of size, shape, etc.
Examples.
Vary according to the age. Vary directly with the price. Maximum heart rates vary a lot for each individual.
Doubt.
A feeling of being uncertain about something, especially about how good or accurate it is.
Examples.
Dispel doubts. No doubt about the news. Doubt is the start, not the end, of intelligence.
Qualification.
An official record of an exam showing that you have completed.
Examples.
Qualifications for the job. Possess distinctive qualifications. Applicants must possess a verified teaching qualification.
Recommend.
To suggest that someone or something would be a suitable fit for a particular purpose or role.
Examples.
Recommend a hospitalization. Recommend reading. We recommend taking media training every 6 months.
Apologize.
To express regret for committing wrongdoing or causing a problem.
Examples.
Apologize for being late. Apologize ahead of time. I apologize for neglecting your email.
Bat.
A nocturnal animal with wings that flies and feeds at night, similar to a mouse, a piece of wood with a handle used for hitting the ball in sports including baseball, cricket, and table tennis.
Examples.
Bat cave. Bat an eye. The cave was a habitat for bats.
Acoustics.
A branch of physics that deals with the study of mechanical waves in gases, liquids, and solids, including topics such as vibration, sound, ultrasound, and infrasound.
Examples.
Specialize in acoustics. The engineer of acoustics. The physicist specializes in acoustics.
Biology.
The scientific study of life and the natural processes of living things.
Examples.
Evolutionary biology. Cell and molecular biology. In junior high school, we had to dissect a frog in biology class.
Ultrasound.
Higher frequency sound than humans can hear.
Examples.
Ultrasound meter. Ultrasound scan. An ultrasound scan showed that the baby was a girl.
Frequency.
An ordered array of colors into which a light beam can be split.
Examples.
Frequency band. High frequency. The oscillator hunts for the correct frequency.
Blind.
Unable to see, unable or unwilling to perceive or understand the true nature of something.
Examples.
Blind to the beauties. Blind spot. She was nearly blind due to severe diabetes.
Echolocation.
The use of reflected sound waves to locate objects, particularly by dolphins and bats.
Examples.
Bat echolocation. Ultrasound for echolocation. Dolphins use echolocation for hunting fish.
Locate.
To specify or determine the exact position of someone or something.
Examples:
Locate a missing pet. Locate a tumor. The robot can accurately locate construction material.
Navigation.
The act of directing a ship or airplane from place to place, advice or information intended to resolve a problem or challenge, especially as given by someone in authority.
Examples:
Navigation system. Visual navigation. The plane's navigation system had problems, which mechanics found.
Typical.
Having the usual characteristics or traits of a specific group of things.
Examples:
Typical leader. Fairly typical symptoms. This artwork is typical of her work.
Insect.
Any small creature that has 6 legs and a body divided into 3 sections.
Examples:
Insect antenna. Insect biology. These insects are more prevalent above a certain latitude.
Rely.
To require a certain thing or the assistance and support of someone or something in order to continue, run properly, or succeed.
Examples:
Rely on convenience stores. Rely entirely on him. Babies heavily rely on others for food.
Vision.
The ability to think about or see the future with imagination and intelligence, the faculty of being able to see.
Examples:
A prodigious vision. Telescopic vision. Driving is difficult for me because of my poor vision.
Summary.
A brief statement that provides the critical aspects of something without going into depth.
Examples:
A summary execution. A summary of the conclusions. A summary is at the end of a book.
Emit.
To give off or send out something such as light, heat, sound, gas, etc.
Examples:
Emit a gamma ray. Emit air pollution. During the unloading, the container box emits a clicking sound.
Ultrasonic.
Having frequencies above the upper limit of human hearing.
Examples:
Ultrasonic sensors. The ultrasonic dimension measurement. Another application of ultrasonic technology is crack depth measurement.
Analyze.
To think about in depth and evaluate to discover essential features or meaning.
Examples:
Analyze a chemical compound. Analyze your real motives. The teacher attempted to analyze the root cause of our mistake.
Bounce.
To cause to move up or away after hitting a surface, to spring back.
Examples:
Bounce across the floor. Bounce back from failure. They will bounce between various emotional states.
Diagram:
A simplified illustration of the appearance, structure, or workings of something.
Examples:
3D diagram. In a diagram. He is drawing a diagram illustrating how the equipment operates.
Echo:
A sound heard after being reflected off a surface, such as a wall or a cliff.
Examples:
The echo of a person's footsteps. Sound echo. A thunderous boom echoed throughout the valley.
Cave:
A large hole in the side of a hill, cliff, mountain, or under the ground.
Examples:
Domiciliary caves. The mouth of the cave. Bats reside in sheltered caves.
Detect:
To find or recognize something, especially something difficult to see, hear, etc.
Examples:
Detect a bad event. Detect smuggling across borders. The security camera has detected 4 intruders.
Associate:
To mentally connect someone or something with someone or something else.
Examples:
Associate alcohol with gambling. Associate with people widely. The majority of consumers associate this brand with quality.
Moth:
An insect with wings similar to a butterfly that travels at night and is attracted to light.
Examples:
Moth larva. Moth attracted to the light. The moth is a serious threat to the farm's output.
Prey:
The object of a hunt, an animal hunted or trapped for eating.
Examples:
Prey of beast. Become prey to terrorists. The majority of snakes swallow their prey whole.
Distinguish:
To notice or understand the difference between two people or things.
Examples:
Distinguish these two things. Distinguish man from the other animals. This study distinguished 4 different ways to run a business.
Underestimate:
To think or suppose that a quantity, price, or size is smaller than it is.
Examples:
Underestimate an enemy. Underestimate the probability. They frequently underestimated their abilities and felt inferior.
Sophisticated:
Having a great deal of worldly experience and knowledge of people's behavior, culture, and fashion.
Examples:
Sophisticated look. A sophisticated lifestyle. Marketing strategies are growing more sophisticated.
Filter.
Any of several types of equipment or systems used to separate particles from liquids or gases or to remove specific forms of light.
Examples:
Gas filter, clogged filter. Ozone is a primary filter to protect Earth's surface from harmful UV rays.
Radar.
A technology that employs radio waves to locate items that cannot be seen.
Examples:
Radar air traffic control, radar scanning. Radar systems cannot spot the submarine.
Ignore.
To intentionally not listen or pay attention to.
Examples:
Ignore her advice. Ignore a ban. Since independence, the area has been completely ignored.
Stationary.
Not moving or not capable of being changed.
Examples:
Remain stationary. Stationary bike. Stationary vehicles in traffic jams produce a tremendous amount of pollution.
Clutter.
To fill a room or place with so many items that it becomes messy.
Examples:
In a clutter. Clear desk clutter. He accused the tenants of leaving clutter and breaking the security camera.
Experiment.
The scientific test conducted to observe what happens and gain new knowledge.
Examples:
Experiment design. Series of experiments. His experiments showed highly positive results.
Spear.
A weapon with a long shaft and a sharp metal point used for battle, hunting, and fishing in the past.
Examples:
Hunting spear. Sharp-pointed spear. Ancient people made spears with wood entirely.
Mass.
A large amount of a substance with no definite shape or form, a large number of people or things grouped or crowded together.
Examples:
A mass of molten rock. Critical mass. The mass of people who do not own property is politically impotent.
Chaotic.
Without any order or organization, extremely disorganized, unpredictable, and confusing.
Examples:
The chaotic economic situation. Chaotic theory. Change is also occurring in Turkey as a result of chaotic reform.
Acoustic.
Relating to sound or the sense of hearing.
Examples:
Acoustic properties of a hall. Acoustic guitar. The ground acts as an acoustic barrier against outside sounds.
Evaluate.
To assess or estimate the quality, significance, quantity, or value of something.
Examples.
Evaluate the grant proposal. Evaluate a situation. The meeting aims to evaluate possible choices.
Deciduous.
Of plants and shrubs, shedding its foliage annually, of teeth, antlers, etc., shedding its body parts at the end of a period of growth.
Examples.
Deciduous tree. Deciduous teeth. Deciduous leafy trees dominate the forests of the lower region.
Maple.
A tall tree with 5 pointed leaves that turn brilliant crimson or yellow in the fall that grows in the northern region.
Examples.
Maple tree. Drizzle of maple syrup. The national emblem of Canada is a maple leaf.
Oak.
A large deciduous tree that is common in northern regions and produces small nuts called acorns.
Examples.
The wine in giant oak vats. Old oak trees. Large oak trees cast a shadow in the garden.
Dense.
Containing a large number of people or something with little space between them.
Examples.
Nutrient-dense foods. Dense forests. The entire mountain is covered in dense rainforest.
Packed.
Extremely full of people, very crowded.
Examples.
Packed audience. A romance-packed movie. The drama is fascinating and action-packed.
Faint.
Not strong, clear, or vigorous, slight or weak.
Examples.
Faint memory. Faint aroma of roses. She heard a faint, nearly invisible scream.
Waveform.
A curve illustrating the shape of a wave at a specific time.
Examples.
Waveform analyses. Seismic waveform. This waveform was quite similar to a sine wave.
Jagged.
Having a rough and sharply uneven surface or outline.
Examples.
Jagged edges. The jagged outline of the crags. There are several jagged limestone peaks throughout the mountains.
Rough.
Not quite exact or correct, having or caused by an irregular surface.
Examples.
Rough and tough. Rough estimation. The vehicle bounced along the rough mountain road.
Pulse.
The regular heartbeat as it sends blood around the body, especially when it is felt at the wrist or side of the neck, a solid regular vibration of sound, electric current, light, or other waves.
Examples.
A weak pulse. Pulse waves. The cardiac monitor displays the intensity of your pulse.
Comparison.
The consideration or examination of the similarities between two or more people or things.
Examples:
Ease of comparison. Comparison of foods on a caloric basis. I've included the two designs for a comparison.
Accurate.
Correct and exact in all details.
Examples:
Provide accurate information. Accurate measurements. The official transcript contains accurate academic records.
Addition.
The act or process of adding something to something else, the process of adding numbers.
Examples:
Chemical addition. Addition of vectors. In addition, private corporations provide healthcare services.
Accord.
An official agreement or treaty between two organizations, countries, etc. Verb, allow to have.
Examples:
Accord with public opinion. By national accord. The organization finally signed a peace accord.
React.
To take action in response to something.
Examples:
React at a high temperature. React against his way of thinking. How did he react to your idea?
Presence.
The fact or state that someone or something exists, occurs, or is present.
Examples:
The evidence of the presence. His majestic presence. The path to a solid online presence necessitates a high technical ability.
Surround.
To be all around something or somebody.
Examples:
Surround a town. A stone wall surrounds the palace. On three sides, mountains surround the settlement.
Trunk.
The main stem or body of a tree which its branches grow.
Examples:
The trunk of the tree. The trunk of the body. Destructive fungi thrive in moist environments, such as those seen in wounds on the trunk.
Interval.
A period between two events or times, a short break or pause.
Examples:
After an interval of pause. At regular intervals. For the analysis interval, the system remains at a standstill state.
Praise.
An expression that shows approval and admiration of the achievements or characteristics of someone or something.
Examples:
Attain critical praise. Universal praise. The drama series mainly received praise.
Principle.
A fundamental law or truth that explains or controls how something happens or works.
Examples:
Principle of treatment. Principle in business. Efficiency isn't an essential principle here, fairness is.
Requirement.
Something that is needed or wanted.
Examples.
Meet requirement. School requirement. What is the entry requirement for this course?
Registrar.
An official in charge of maintaining official records.
Examples.
School registrar. Registrar of domain name. The request is forwarded to the registrar.
Diploma.
A document showing the completion of a course of study or a portion of the education program, a course of study at a college or university.
Examples.
University diploma. Diploma thesis. He completed his high school diploma via correspondence courses.
Warn.
To make someone aware of potential danger or difficulty, particularly one that may occur in the future.
Examples.
Warn a reckless driver. Warned me of the plan. I attempted to warn him, but he ignored me.
Academic.
Associated with schools, colleges, and universities, especially studying and thinking, not with practical skills.
Examples.
Academic probation. An academic discussion. An excellent historian must possess an academic mentality.
Intermediate.
Situated between two locations, things, states, etc., around the middle of a scale of evaluation.
Examples.
Intermediate sanction. Intermediate level. Purple is intermediate between blue and red.
Outline.
To describe the main facts or aspects involved in something.
Examples.
Outline the plan. Outline the findings. This page outlines our response planning for an emergency.
Definitely.
Without any question and beyond doubt, clearly.
Examples.
Definitely become a problem. Say definitely. The paper is definitely worth reading thoroughly.
Chairperson.
The officer who presides over organization meetings.
Examples.
Vice chairperson. The meeting elected a chairperson. The chairperson has the authority to approve or deny any request.
Unfortunately.
By bad luck, unluckily.
Examples.
Unfortunately caught in a shower. Even more unfortunately. The treatments were done, but, unfortunately, were unsuccessful.
Assign.
To give a specific job or piece of work to a someone.
Examples.
Assign projects. Assign top priority. Please assign a different color to each other kind of item.
Depth.
The distance between the top and bottom of something, between the top surface and a distance below it.
Examples:
Depth camera. The depth of the water. The pond's depth was around 5 feet.
Fieldwork.
Real-world research or study conducted outside a library or laboratory.
Examples:
Meticulous fieldwork. Perform fieldwork. Numerous instances from fieldwork show these hypotheses in great detail.
Supplement.
Something that is added to something else to make it better or complete it.
Examples:
Wage supplement. Use of dietary supplements. Certain supplements may promote tumor growth.
Cancel.
To decide that a previously scheduled activity will not take place.
Examples:
Cancel a class. Cancel a free subscription trial. When customers cancel their reservations, they lose the deposit they made.
Immediately.
Now or without delay.
Examples:
Immediately recall a product. Write him an answer immediately. A suspension order from the court is effective immediately.
Verify.
To check that something exists or is true, or to prove that something is correct.
Examples:
Verify a document. Verify identity. We always verify all critical information independently.
Arrangement.
A plan or preparation for the future event, the action or process of placing things in a particular order.
Examples:
Arrangement of the furniture. Arrangement committee. As a first arrangement, we agreed to meet the following Friday.
Certify.
To formally state, especially in writing, that something is true.
Examples:
Certify product quality. Certify the authenticity of the painting. As a witness, I can certify his innocence.
Deadline.
A date or period by which something must be done.
Examples:
Transfer deadline day. The deadline for applications. No matter what, we must have this done before the deadline.
Fulfill.
To meet the requirements or expectations, to achieve or realize.
Examples:
Fulfill a contract. Fulfill a lifetime dream. It was the first time for her, but she fulfilled the role of priest.
Submit.
To give or offer a document, proposal, etc., to a decision maker for examination or consideration.
Examples:
Agree to submit the bill. Submit an application. Please submit the assignment to me.
Regularly.
At regular intervals or times.
Examples:
Regularly arranged. Post regularly to a blog. This site regularly shares high-quality academic materials.
Obtain.
To get something, especially by making a great effort.
Examples:
Obtain a license. Obtain a bid. Where can I obtain the application form?
Emphasize.
To give or show particular importance to something.
Examples:
Emphasize her words. Emphasize a direct relationship. Use italics or capitals to emphasize a word in a piece of writing.
Motivation.
The reason or enthusiasm for acting or behaving in a particular way.
Examples:
Understand his motivation. Motivation for a change. A significant amount of motivation is required to be a teacher.
Resolve.
To find a suitable answer to the problems or difficulty.
Examples:
Resolve a dispute. Resolve the computer error. This company resolves its battery problem completely.
Grade.
A particular level of quality, size, importance, etc.
Examples:
Boys in the 12th grade. Students at all grade levels. Departments may set requirements for a higher grade point average.
Imply.
To indicate the truth or existence of something without referring to it.
Examples:
Imply a strong correlation. Imply the presence of alien. The salespeople speak in technical terms to imply that they are more knowledgeable than the customer.
Uncertain.
Not being sure of something, not being able to choose.
Examples:
Numerous uncertain factors. Take an uncertain attitude. She was uncertain about her friend's intentions.
Reliability.
The quality of being able to be trusted or believed in doing what someone desires or requires.
Examples:
Improve reliability. Reliability test. The incident threw questions on her motivations and reliability.
Approve.
To think that someone or something is favorable, acceptable, or appropriate, to officially accept a plan, request, etc.
Examples:
Approve a measures. Unanimously approve a resolution. My boss wouldn't approve of the plan.
Habitat.
The type of natural environment in which an organism or group usually lives or occurs.
Examples:
A marine habitat. Threatened habitat. The habitat of this bird is freshwater areas and saltwater marshes.
Disperse.
To spread out or distribute over a broad region, or to cause something to do so.
Examples:
Disperse false information. Disperse the protesters. Before authorities dispersed the protesters, they yelled slogans.
Reproduce.
To make a copy of something such as a picture, piece of text, music, etc., to produce offspring through a sexual or asexual process.
Examples:
Reproduce the painting. Reproduce by myself. By dividing and creating copies of themselves, bacteria reproduce.
Organism.
A tiny living thing.
Examples:
Aerobic organism. Group of organisms. A diversified plant species generally enhances beneficial organism populations.
Physically.
In a way related to a person's body or appearance rather than their mind.
Examples:
Physically and mentally. Stay physically fit. Having a physically healthy physique is essential for a great life.
Breed.
To keep animals for producing offspring in a regulated manner.
Examples:
Breed horses. Breed suspicion. This animal breeds in northern latitudes.
Preference.
A stronger liking or interest for something or someone than another thing or person.
Examples:
His meal preferences. A particular preference for Chinese art. Her preference is comfortable clothing over fashionable ones.
Offspring.
Descendant, any immature animal or plant.
Examples:
Female offspring. Produce offspring. How many offspring does the average lion have?
Survival.
The state of continuing to exist or live, frequently in the face of difficulty or danger.
Examples:
Survival ability. Survival food. He evaluated his chances for survival rather pessimistically.
Recap.
To repeat or summarize what has been said, decided, etc.
Examples:
Recap key points. Recap briefly. Let me quickly recap these results.
Frank.
Honest and sincere, open and candid in expression.
Examples:
Frank and open discussion. Make a frank apology. Full involvement means frank and prompt responses.
Environment.
The natural world such as air, water, and land in which humans, animals, and plants live.
Examples.
Environment affairs. Chaotic environment. Every human is responsible for taking care of the Earth's environment.
Normally.
Usually, under normal conditions.
Examples.
Complete normally. Not normally drink much. I don't normally take a vacation in the middle of summer.
Element.
A fundamental or essential part of something.
Examples.
New design elements. Non-metallic elements. Natural selection is an essential element in Darwin's theory of evolution.
Obvious.
Easy to see, discover, or understand.
Examples.
Obvious reasons. His conclusion was obvious. There are obvious differences between the two wine-producing regions.
Climate.
The weather in a particular location averaged over some long period.
Examples.
A cold climate. Effects of climate change. Climate and weather have an impact on every part of our lifestyles.
Destruction.
The act of causing so much damage to something.
Examples.
Path of destruction. Cyclonic destruction. The extinction of several subspecies has been linked to climate change and habitat destruction.
Shorebird.
A bird that visits the seashore.
Examples.
Wide varieties of migrating shorebirds. Shorebird conservation. This island is a mecca for shorebird watchers from all over the world.
Shellfish.
Water creatures that live in shells, especially one of the types that can be eaten.
Examples.
Shellfish allergy. Edible shellfish. Shellfish can cause allergic reactions in certain people.
Blend.
To mix or combine two or more substances.
Examples.
Blend all the elements. Blend milk and cream. The toad altered its appearance to better blend in with its new environments.
Camouflage.
An outward appearance that conceals the underlying essence of something, the way of concealing troops or military equipment so they cannot be seen against the surrounding environment.
Examples.
Camouflage clothing. Work as camouflage. They utilized branches of trees as camouflage.
Predator.
An animal whose natural behavior is to prey on others.
Examples:
Apex predator. Sexual predators. The native South American animals were in danger because of the predator's arrival.
Shallow.
Not having much distance from the top to the bottom.
Examples:
Shallow people. Shallow water. Shallow brooks are noisier than deep rivers.
Depression.
A mental condition in which a person feels very unhappy and without hope for the future, a severe recession in an economy or market.
Examples:
The Great Depression. The root problem of her depression. Depression symptoms might include a decrease in appetite and weight loss.
Fledgling.
Water creatures that live in shells, especially one of the types that can be eaten.
Examples:
Fledgling company. Fledgling birds. The current economic situation is especially tough for fledgling businesses.
Nest.
A structure in which animals lay their eggs or give birth to their young.
Examples:
Bird's nest. A nest of thieves. The female birds build a nest and lay their eggs in May.
Vulnerable.
Capable of being hurt or influenced physically or mentally.
Examples:
A vulnerable bridge. Vulnerable parts of the body. Infants and pregnant women are particularly vulnerable.
Threaten.
To utter intentions of injury or punishment against someone.
Examples:
Threaten a healthy relationship. Threaten national security. Various artificially induced causes are threatening our ecosystem.
Conservationist.
A person who advocates or acts to protect and preserve the environment and wildlife.
Examples:
Wildlife conservationist. Dedicated conservationist. The extinction of this species has been a significant concern for conservationists.
Sandbar.
An extended raised area of sand beneath the surface of the water, typically generated by moving currents, especially where a river enters the sea.
Examples:
Sandbar migration. Camp on a sandbar along the river. At last, we came across a tiny sandbar, just barely above the sea.
Inaccessible.
Unable to travel to or reach, not available.
Examples:
Inaccessible to an unauthorized user. Inaccessible areas. Heavy snow made it inaccessible to go to the mountain village.
Instance.
A particular example or single occurrence of something.
Examples:
For instance, Notable instance. These articles cite 5 instances of climate change.
Exhibit.
To show something in public for people to enjoy or to provide them with information.
Examples.
Exhibit a bad attitude. Exhibit a great talent. Other technology industries exhibit similarly explosive growth.
Warble.
Of a bird, to sing, particularly with an unstable high voice.
Examples.
Warble all day long. Warble incessantly. The singer warbles on the street, but no one is listening.
Songbird.
A bird with a musical call, such as a blackbird or thrush.
Examples.
Migratory songbird. Tropical songbird. Federal law protects the majority of songbirds.
Hardwood.
The wood of a broadleaf tree, such as oak, ash, or beech, as contrasted to that of conifers.
Examples.
Tropical hardwoods. Hardwood timber. It has spacious rooms with wide hardwood flooring.
Bush.
A plant growing thickly with many small branches and several stiff stems coming up from the root.
Examples.
Trees and bushes. A bush of hair. I am going to trim this bush off.
Underneath.
Under or below something else.
Examples.
Underneath the surface of the water. Underneath the laughter. The penny fell underneath the piano.
Shrub.
A woody plant that is smaller than a tree and has several main stems emerging from the soil.
Examples.
Tree and shrubs. Small shrub. These are shrubs with no trunks that rarely grow taller than 3 meters.
Density.
The quality of compactness of a substance.
Examples.
Population density. Higher pixel density. Do you know the density of the population in Hong Kong?
Spot.
A particular location or place, a small round or roundish area, differing in color or feels from the surface around it.
Examples.
Beauty spot. A spot on his honor. This remote spot is rarely visited.
Dominant.
More important, influential, or easy to notice than anything else of the same type.
Examples.
Achieve a dominant share. Dominant force. Her company soon won a dominant market share.
Reproductive.
Connected with the process of reproduction, relating to reproducing babies, young animals, or plants. Reproductive ability. During reproductive period. This documentary deals with the reproductive biology of the buffalo.
Chick.
A baby bird, especially a young chicken.
Examples:
Baby chick. Chick sorting. The majority of the chicks are raised on local family farms.
Correlate.
To have a connection or relationship in which one thing affects or depends on another.
Examples:
Correlate closely with the quality. Correlate to the size. We may frequently correlate age with the frequency of disease.
Stream.
A small, narrow river, a continuous flow of something, such as liquid, gas, people, vehicles, etc.
Examples:
The stream of time. An endless stream of cars. Jet streams are the common name for air currents that form high in the atmosphere.
Essentially.
Relating to the essential features or concepts of anything.
Examples:
Essentially correct. Become essentially same. Essentially, a society is an organism.
Compete.
To strive to achieve more success than someone or something.
Examples:
Compete against a friend. Compete fiercely. You must compete with others to obtain this position.
Suit.
A set of clothes that are made from the same material, a claim or complaint that a person or organization can file in court against another party. Verb, to be fit or acceptable for.
Examples:
Suit and tie restaurant. Suit at law. 6 suits are awaiting trial or verdict.
Prime.
Main or most important, basic.
Examples:
Prime number. Deputy Prime Minister. After a thorough investigation, she's been named as the prime suspect.
Competitor.
A person who participates in a sporting contest, a person or organization that competes with others, particularly in business.
Examples:
Beat competitor offer. Domestic competitor. The gap between the company and its competitors has widened.
Competition.
A situation in which someone is attempting to beat or outperform another.
Examples:
The first round of the competition. Interspecific competition. Global competition is rising in virtually every industry.
Examine.
To study or consider a person or object attentively and thoroughly to learn something about them.
Examples:
Examine the data studiously. Examine the issue. Initially, we must examine all project-related expenses.
Consequence.
The outcome of a particular action or event, especially relative to an individual.
Examples.
Unintended consequences. The consequence of an argument. These economic activities had disastrous environmental consequences.
Avail.
To help or benefit, to use or take advantage of.
Examples.
Avail you little. Avail ourselves of this opportunity. Their financing options are reasonable and easy to avail.
Predatory.
Living by eating other animals, especially by catching prey that is still alive.
Examples.
A predatory bird. Predatory warfare. The domesticated cat still has its predatory instincts.
Illustrate.
To provide pictures, photographs, diagrams, etc. in a book or something for explanation.
Examples.
Illustrate a key point. Illustrate a story. The company's financial records illustrate how successful it has been.
Relation.
The way two persons or groups of people feel and act toward one another.
Examples.
Relation between cause and effect. Relation of inclusion. The industrial relations laws were passed with little to no alteration.
Vegetation.
Plants in general, particularly those indigenous to a particular region or spot.
Examples.
Tropical vegetation. Dense vegetation. The vegetation in the area is quite diverse.
Disturb.
To interrupt someone who is trying to work, sleep, etc.
Examples.
Disturb the peace. Disturb his sleep. Tourists frequently disturb the island's delicate natural balance.
Competitive.
Involving competition or competitiveness.
Examples.
A competitive price. Competitive position. The mobile application industry is a competitive one.
Infer.
To form an opinion or conclude that something is true based on existing facts.
Examples.
Infer quality from price. Infer the possibility. Animal desire and preference are always inferred from their behavior.
Contradict.
To deny the truth of a statement by stating the opposite, to be in conflict with.
Examples.
Contradict each other. Contradict the principle. The book contains numerous statements that contradict previous reports.
Aspect.
One part or feature of a situation, problem, subject, etc.
Examples:
Non-technical aspects of the job. Aspects of social, political, and economic life. His professional experience includes all aspects of media production.
Recall.
To remember something.
Examples:
Recall the incident. Recall his name. She vividly recalls getting laid off several years ago.
Birch.
A slender, hardy tree with smooth bark and narrow branches, native to northern regions.
Examples:
Birch trees. Birch bark. We discovered that birch bark could be an ingredient to make paper.
Bark.
The hard outer layer of a tree, a sound made by dogs or some other animals.
Examples:
Trees with rough bark. Bark at the moon. He removed the bark from the tree.
Native.
Connecting with or describing someone's birth country or place of birth, or someone born in a specific country or place.
Examples:
Native to Africa. Native language. The vegetation here is almost wholly native.
Soil.
The top layer of earth in which plants grow.
Examples:
Soils retentive of moisture. Parched soil. Soil moisture is another significant component controlling soil respiration.
Prevalent.
Existing very commonly in a particular area or in a specific time.
Examples:
Prevalent in Japan. Prevalent belief. This virus is prevalent in many tropical nations.
Waterproof.
Not permitting the passage of water.
Examples:
The waterproof coat. Waterproof packing. My mother gave me a waterproof watch.
Utensil.
A tool used in the house.
Examples:
Cooking utensils. Cleaning utensils. This cuisine requires special kitchen utensils.
Peel.
To remove the skin of fruit and vegetables.
Examples:
Peel a fruit. Peel off easily. The storm had peeled all paint off the siding.
Adhere.
To stick firmly, to be compatible.
Examples:
Adhere to their plan. Adhere rigidly to the rules. Administrators must adhere to the highest standards.
Pliable.
Flexible, easy to bend without breaking or cracking.
Examples:
Pliable dough. Keep the skin pliable. Certain types of plastic become pliable when heated.
Cord.
A strong, thick, or thin thread or rope, a piece of plastic-coated wire used to transport electricity to a piece of equipment.
Examples:
Spinal cord, electrical cord. Your spinal cord is located deep within your body.
Canoe.
A narrow, light boat with pointy ends and no keel that is propelled by a paddle.
Examples:
Canoe race. Make a canoe trip. After the accident, the police found an empty canoe.
Interconnect.
To connect similar things.
Examples:
Directly interconnect with those systems. Human activities interconnect with the environment. Our system can now interconnect with other databases.
Transport.
A system for moving people or products from one location to another using automobiles, roads, and so on.
Examples:
Transport facilities. Access to public transport. Enhanced rail transportation is crucial for our business.
Vessel.
A ship or large boat.
Examples:
Blood vessels. Naval vessels. The vessel arrived in port the following day.
Essential.
Indispensable, fundamental.
Examples:
Essential amino acid. Essential commodities of life. Trial and error is an essential part of education.
Overgrown.
Covered in plants that have been allowed to grow naturally and have not been controlled.
Examples:
An overgrown garden. Overgrown child. The wooden gate had been damaged, and the hedge had become overgrown.
Lightweight.
Composed of thinner and lighter material than average, not severe or impressive.
Examples:
Lightweight aircraft. Lightweight structure. Powder coating protects the lightweight aluminum alloy components.
Sturdy.
Physically strong and not easily damaged.
Examples:
Sturdy frame. Sturdy young athletes. The vehicle is sturdy enough to handle rough terrain.
Stretch.
To make or be capable of making anything longer or broader without hurting or breaking.
Examples:
Stretch along the coast. Stretch a story. Some herds have been observed to stretch hundreds of kilometers.
Frame.
A strong border or structure of the wood, metal, etc. that surrounds something such as a picture, door, or window.
Examples:
A picture frame. The frame of the policy. The detective looked for fingerprints on the window frame.
Stitch.
One of the tiny thread lines visible on a piece of fabric after it has been sewn.
Examples:
A stitch in a garment. Pattern stitch. The wound was so deep that it needed a surgical procedure and stitches.
Sealed.
Closed or secured with.
Examples:
Sealed orders. Sealed jar. We packed and shipped the product in sealed containers.
Sticky.
Made of or covered with an adhesive substance, hot or warm and humid.
Examples:
Sticky weather. Sticky situation. A peculiar sticky material coated the foliage.
Liquid.
A substance, such as water or oil that flows freely, and is neither a solid nor a gas.
Examples:
Colorless liquid. Hazardous liquid. The sponge takes up the liquid well.
Watertight.
Tightly sealed, secured or designed to prevent water entry or passage.
Examples:
Watertight boat. Watertight container. A watertight plastic casing protects the electronic circuits.
Cargo.
The goods carried by ship, aircraft, or other vehicles.
Examples:
Plenty of cargo space. Unload the cargo. During the war, many cargo ships were converted into battleships.
Weigh.
To have a particular weight, to carefully evaluate things before making a conclusion.
Examples:
Weigh heavily on stock prices. Weigh a cargo. The baby weighs 1 pound 3 ounces.
Pound.
The standard unit of money in the UK, the standard unit of weight equal to 16 ounces.
Examples:
3/4 of a pound. Thousands of pounds. The car's front bumper cost £1,500.
Vast.
Enormous in size, number, amount, or quantity.
Examples:
Vast majority. Vast desert. A vast audience viewed the broadcast.
Maneuver.
A motion or combination of moves that requires skill and care, a clever strategy, activity, or movement intended to give someone an advantage.
Examples:
Political maneuvers. Made a great maneuver. In this class, we learn the basic maneuver of a plane.
Occasionally.
Now and then, sometimes but not often. Occasionally dine with friends. Occasionally change the routine. She still occasionally writes a short romance novel.
Alliance.
A partnership or association formed for mutual benefit, particularly between nations or organizations.
Examples:
Form alliance. Major airline alliances. To sell the product, the companies have formed an alliance.
Expand.
To increase or to make something greater in size, number, or importance.
Examples:
Expand a lineup. Expand agricultural output. They hope to expand their business worldwide.
Efficiency.
The state or quality of doing something well with no waste of input such as time or money.
Examples:
Better fuel efficiency. An energy efficiency. Our company must continue to strive for greater efficiency.
Impressive.
Arousing admiration due to size, quality, or skill.
Examples:
Impressive performances. An impressive array of facts. The budget reduction was an impressive feat for our nation.
Adopt.
To choose to follow something, to legally take a child from another family and care for them as if they were one's own.
Examples:
Adopt a child. Adopt a bill. The National Assembly has adopted the budget.
Lodge.
A small country house where people stay when they want to participate in outdoor activities. Verb, officially present a complaint, appeal, claim, etc. to the appropriate authorities.
Examples:
Lodged a complaint against him. A ski lodge. The final decision should be lodged with the chairman.
Roofing.
The material used in the construction of roofs.
Examples:
Roofing material. A roofing tile. Roofing tiles were the standard for a house of substantial size.
Adept.
Having or showing knowledge and skill and aptitude to do something quite difficult.
Examples:
Adept at fishing. Adept in handicrafts. She is highly adept with medical equipment.
Characteristic.
A typical feature or quality that can identify, tell apart, or describe something or somebody.
Examples:
Stripes characteristic of the zebra. My friend's characteristic laugh. Bananas have their characteristic taste and odor.
Repel.
To force an attack or attacker to withdraw or retreat.
Examples:
Repel bandits. Repel bad luck. This material can repel moisture swiftly.
Texture.
The feel or appearance of a surface or substance.
Examples:
The texture of the skin. The texture of octopus. We could sense the silk's lovely texture.
Settler.
A person who moved with a group of others to live in a different country or area.
Examples:
New settlers. Settlers on some foreign shore. A large proportion of railway workers in settler colonies were white.
Misprint.
Typography, such as a misspelled word in a printed text.
Examples:
This description is a misprint. Make a misprint. There's a misprint in the expression, and a little too lengthy.
Explanation.
The information or arguments that someone provides to make something understandable or clear.
Examples:
The explanation for the failure. Detailed explanation. The following explanation is currently being used to explain the phenomenon in question.
Geography.
A field of science devoted to the study of the lands, features, inhabitants, and phenomena of the earth.
Examples:
Geography class. Economic geography. She did well on her geography exam.